Fresh and
All right, welcome back to another episode of Fresh and Buds. I am your host, Tommy Fresh, and you are all my buds. It is a very low-key week here in the States as we have Thanksgiving, so I want to talk a little bit about being thankful and you know, because this is an amazing community, and I thought who better to have on to talk about being thankful is one of my dearest friends in this community, Mr. Matt DeMarco, aka Flake. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well. I slept like an absolute animal last night. This weekend was a busy one for me. It continues to be busy, like up until probably the second week of December. I'll be pretty busy, but for now, I'm in this particular specific moment, in this snapshot of reality, my friend Tommy. I'm excellent because I'm here with you. I'm rested. I have coffee, and life is good.
That's awesome to hear. You know, I would like to sleep like an animal for once in my life, and maybe you'll have to give me lessons at some point. But I'm also just noticing. So we use a like outside program or whatever to record, and I just noticed the name that Flake put as his name in the program. Which, if you want to guess what that is, you know, I know what it is, but people can put in the comments. What do they think Flake put his name as? I will give you one hint. It sounds like he has an MD or a PhD, one of the two. But
I can give another hint. I won't give it away because this is also partially fun. But a few hints out there is that the Flesh and Pod community would probably have a little bit of an in terms of what it would be. Also, it is a reference to That 70s Show. And if I could make that sort of paint the picture here, basically the reference is all the gang are in Eric's basement, and they find something out about Eric, and they're kind of laughing at him. And he says, and he thinks that he knows what it is, so he tries to get ahead of it, and he says, "Okay, I get it. Yeah, you're all right. When I was in summer camp, my nickname was," and then he says this nickname, which wasn't what he was talking about. So he just sort of volunteered some more hilarious information. But that nickname that he gave is basically what I added to this program, which I never use in any case. But I thought that it was just hilarious because I think when we were on a podcast together, or I was on an episode with you with this program, or was it you? Anyways, long story short, it says like enter your name, and I was like, well, you know, now's my time to be whoever I want.
Well, you know, that's actually some pretty good like hints there, so I hope people can guess. But we're gonna get to the show here in a sec. I do have to shout out the Patreon, which you can find in the show notes. We're humming and dinging in there and yucking and jiving, and it is a good time. You get some bonus apps. You get a Romping Club membership card. You get a sticker. You get a handwritten note from yours truly, and you get access to a little private channel in the Buds Discord, which is open for everyone, and you should all check that out as well. Flake's in there hanging out sometimes, you know that. And
I go there for food pictures.
We got some good ones. We got some good food pictures. Not as many salads as you know maybe some people would want, but you know what? We're posting some pretty tasty stuff. Also, I want to shout out the Bud Rush Bellow, my live podcast, which we took a week off this week because the holiday. But that's typically Wednesdays at 9:30 Eastern. Me and Gary, a.k.a. Mr. Viz, a.k.a. the waifu Viscerai pillow guy. We have a lot of fun over there, and it's a good time. And then also, we want to shout out our producer, Greg. Greg, I hope you're having a great Thanksgiving, and I hope you share with us a little bit of what you're thankful for.
Hey, Tommy. Welcome back, Flake. I am just incredibly thankful for my wife and my family. We moved across the country earlier this year for her new job. And as a result, I'm also super thankful for the Buds because without knowing a lot of people in the area yet, I always had y'all to hang out with, and I'm never going to forget that. I love you guys. And honey, Why is there a turkey in our...
Without further ado, let's get to the podcast. Flake, you've had a busy couple months, my friend. You know,
Yes.
I mean, mostly I want to talk about Worlds because you got to take part in that legendary tournament. I was unfortunately not able to go. So I'm always curious to see how it went. You know, I've talked to a few people who've been there. How was it from your perspective in the booth?
It was really awesome. I got to work with some very, very talented people again, obviously, and Tannen was also there. I got to work with Brendan Patrick quite closely. Again, the way that this kind of works is there's always a structure for the first 10% of any production. So like the first few hours of the Friday was like, okay, it's going to be Tannen, it's going to be, Doa and Brian. It's going to be Flake and Brendan Patrick. Tannen is going to do some interviews, do some hosting gig duties and whatever. And that was kind of how it went. But at the same time, that kind of goes out the window after the first 3 or 4 matches, because eventually there's a hero that shows up and somebody's like, well, I'm not too familiar with, this hero. And somebody's like, well, I'm an expert at this hero. So you really plug and play. And to sort of peel the curtain back in terms of roles, like my role, same as Doa's role, same as Tannen's role, is sort of lead play-by-play. And then there's like an analyst/expert role, which is usually filled by Brian and Brendan. However, in certain cases, we mix and match. And in the case for a match with Doa and myself, like I filled the expert role in that regard. And it's just a lot of fun. But I got so much experience working with pros like Doa, which is fantastic. Even like the Goliath Gauntlet, working with somebody like Mitch Leslie, aka Uber. I love what I do. And I know it's been a busy few months and I haven't really been home. I think I've been traveling as much as I've been home, more or less. Like it's probably like a 60-40 split that I've been home about 60% of the time and on the road 40% of the time for the past 3 months or so. And I'm okay with that. Like I'm absolutely okay with that because this is what I signed up for. And this is what I worked hard to get to, is to have these opportunities. And they're still happening. And it makes me exceptionally happy. But Worlds as a whole specifically was the pinnacle. Was the venue like great? Probably not. Like the venue was a solid 6 on 10, maybe 10, like 5 on 10. The party, like the pre-party was, the venue itself was cool, but I think it was too small for how many people were there. The logistics of it were kind of wonky, but overall, I think that everything just gets rescued by the fact that you're there, surrounded by the community and your friends. And I truly mean it when I say friends. Like I have my friends that I grew up with back home in Montreal, and I have flesh and blood. And these are people you're like, for instance, like you and people from Team Kayfabe, people from Realm Games, MinMax Games, like all these people that I go out there. It's not because this is my job. I go out there because, yeah, I do my job, but also I go there because I want to catch up with my friends. I want to go have a drink with my buddies, hear about it, talk to Logan, talk to Jordan and Abby, go out there and sit down and listen to Carolina wax on about God knows what, like things like that. Like these are all experiences that the tournament allows me to enjoy, and I'm forever thankful because that's the theme. Even though I'm a Canadian, I will borrow your custom of a Thanksgiving in November, which I don't know if that's correct or not, but ours was way back in October, so you guys are lagging behind.
Yeah, I'm not really sure exactly, how seasonal thanks is. Maybe we should be thankful all year round, but
no, that's it. It's scheduled. Okay, you are thankful within this 48-hour block of time, and otherwise, go fuck yourself.
That's true. That is true. But hey, listen, that sounds like awesome. I mean, obviously from the outside in, I saw pictures of that venue, and I was like, it seems weird, right? But I didn't see many people complaining about it. So like, obviously everybody was really having a great time, which is awesome. And I will say, you, as always, killed it in the booth.
Thank you so much.
The short amount of the actual coverage I was able to see, because it was a busy weekend for myself, but I do have one question, since and I'm curious for myself. So Saturday were the Blitz rounds. Now, I know that primarily in your Flesh and Blood career as a caster, it's been a lot of CC and like limited, right? And I would say that Blitz is not the most popular format.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong, and I, I'm speaking from my own experience with it. How was it casting the Blitz rounds?
It was awesome. I share the same concerns that everyone had. I was walking into this saying this could be an absolute tire fire. I think it was really, there was very little margin for this to be just okay. It was either going to be incredible or it was going to be a complete dumpster fire. And frankly, I think that it was more towards the really good side of things, because my main concern, and I had this discussion with so many people, I said, what happens if you show up and it's just like a turn 0 smash, and that next, if the follow-up game is like, the losing player has one turn. If it's all that, if all the Blitz rounds get wrapped up in like 5 Blitz games amounted to 8 turns, like what happens then? That is a very bad stain on the format, which then bleeds into a bad stain on the format of the tournament itself. Mm-hmm. So it was really a risky maneuver here, but I thought that it was the proper way to approach it, where if you're going to crown a champion, you better damn well be good at all forms and facets of competitive Flesh and Blood, which is limited, CC, and Blitz. And the 5 rounds we got were great. I think that Chain versus Prism kicking it off, it was an underdog that basically beat Chain, because everybody's saying that Chain was just going to steamroll Prism. Did not happen. Mm-hmm. The only concern, frankly, was the fact that there was a situation where Hayden Dale got rolled by Rhinar on a perfect turn 0 and forced Hayden to start the game at 6 health, and it's that, but that happens. That's why you choose Rhinar. And some might criticize that and say, hey, like, this is bad for the format, but you take that risk by bringing Rhinar in, because Rhinar is looking to do that anyways. Rhinar is looking to smash you and peel your health total down by finding those big hands. And if you found it, then hey, good on you. Nothing to take away from that person piloting that deck, because they built the deck to find those scenarios where that can happen. And it happened. And congratulations and good on you. But overall, I think that the Blitz portion of the tournament was successful, but it was very, very close to going the opposite way. There was very little margin for error or for deviance away from having good matches, but I think it went well.
Well, you kind of bringing up Rhinar, it really is the place for Rhinar as a hero in a class to shine, right? I mean, that being said, Rhinar did win the calling that weekend as well, but historically was not winning a whole lot in CC. So I think it's probably pretty important, almost probably like I would assume by design, that we have heroes like Rhinar that can be so good in the shorter form of the game, where can't necessarily convert all the time in CC. So it's pretty interesting. Now, I know that, I think maybe I heard this somewhere, but maybe even James Whitehead said it, that originally they wanted Dynasty to be out before Worlds.
That's correct.
And obviously, because of the way the world is, right, supply chain and all that nonsense, it just couldn't happen. And I think everybody's very understanding of it. Coming out of the weekend, when you were like done casting, if you could think, do you think that Dynasty being in the form, like in rotation there, would have been a better experience for World, or maybe possibly a negative?
No, it would have been absolutely a positive. I think that that's always going to be the case. I think I've said this multiple times. The ideal for me is that both draft sets drop about 6 weeks prior to each Pro Tour, 6 to 8 weeks prior to each Pro Tour, and the supplemental drops the same way. Like, I think that 6 weeks prior to each major is probably the right drop, and I think that's what they were kind of angling for too. Dynasty was in fact supposed to drop several weeks prior to it, and now again, supply issues, printing issues, etc. Like you mentioned, the world is one hell of a nasty tangled ball of yarn right now, but it's not easy to just sort of unravel it and put it in a straight line. So you just kind of have to go with it. And that's the case. And the fact is like the other issue is, like, if Dynasty could ship a week or two prior to it, Is that better than it shipping after? I don't think it is. I think that you have to have it with enough leeway, because then there's issues of like, well, the advantage goes to those who have the money to buy the cards and have the access to buy the cards they need. And, if there's suddenly a deck out there, then that you don't have cards for, you're immediately out of disadvantage. And that stems from accessibility and opportunity with your wallet, right? And you don't want the games to be dictated that way. But I think that it spices up the meta, and that everybody's so secretive ahead of major tournaments that if there's just new cards that come out 6 weeks prior to the major tournament, people are not going to be sharing their secret brews. They might even go to calling and bring a decoy deck or something that they're not actually planning to bring to Worlds, because they want to save the secret spice for the big deal. So I thought that it was going to be incredible if Dynasty did have time to gestate and actually influence it, but that wasn't the case. But if it was up to me, I'd have, that's my release schedule, is have new sets come out 6 weeks prior to major tournaments.
Yeah, and it sounds like hopefully that's going to be the way LSS approaches it in 2023. You've said, you've had some information in terms of, that the Pro Tour is going to be mid 2023. We're probably getting a set release in March, a draftable set, which is always something that we can be excited about. But what are your big predictions for Flesh and Blood in 2023?
My predictions for Flesh and Blood in 2023 are, like, let's keep in mind that there's what I would like, and then there's what's within the sort of framework of reality. And you and I are both big Seinfeld fans, and I always go revert back to Kramer and Kramer's big ideas. Like, and I always think about the whole thought process of Kramer's at a fantasy camp. His whole life is a fantasy camp. People should slam down $1,000 to live like him for a week. Like, that's the kind of thing. And in my head, that's how I try to envision it, where I want a fantasy camp. I want like the craziness of just all the wacky ideas. Now, are they realistic? No. Much like Kramer talking about building levels in his apartment, levels, Jerry, levels. Like, it doesn't make sense. You can't tear. Those are load bearing walls, Jerry. Anyways, we're off the chain here, but my predictions that are within the framework of reality are that we're going to get 3 set releases. We're going to get probably some other product that is not necessarily going to affect CC that much, but will expand upon UPF and PvE. I think that that's certainly out there. I also think that we're probably going to see merchandise. And I'm not saying this off of any major authority. What I will say is that I know that that's something that LSS is looking to explore. However, given the fact that, like, what people need to understand is that this game exploded. It absolutely blew up. And when we're talking about blowing up, we're not talking about like, oh, it doubled in interest or tripled. We're talking about like 6,600% increase over 3 years of revenue, interest, all that stuff. And this is reported on by Deloitte. Like, these are reputable people looking into this. This is a situation where LSS like won awards in New Zealand as like the biggest growing companies in that country. So let's get real. It's one of those things where if you're a family and you're expecting a child and you're preparing for a child, and then you find out that it's septuplets, like, you can have the crib and the room painted, but you're not ready for septuplets. No. So that's kind of what happened. And so I think that a merchandise thing is a matter of priority for them. Or organized play will always be the number one thing that they want to promote outside of card releases and card design. Obviously, that's what they want to invest in and go moving forward. But I would suspect 3 sets. I would suspect some sort of additional card content that isn't competitive related. And I would also anticipate, like I said, some type of merchandising, be it t-shirts or hats or mugs, or, there's the statue that's coming out. I don't think that anyone's really, I wouldn't suspect like figurines or mini statues or minifigs or whatever. I don't think that's what's happening. I think that that's probably 2 or 3 years out, but I would suspect that what they're looking to do is clean up and streamline and sort of solidify what they were successful in 2022, which was tournaments, organized play, supporting the community. That's what their 2023 looks like to me.
Well, I mean, I certainly hope you're right. And, in terms of the like additional, I guess maybe you can call them supplemental, but not supplemental to like CC, but supplemental to the game releases such as PvE. I think I personally would like to see some more classic battles. I mean, I think that's actually was for the most part a little bit of a hit, and a great way to kind of just have something on storefronts and on retail shelves for LGSs just to have. I think it is great, and because you look at the Rhinar versus Dorinthia one, you're going, what's that? And all of a sudden it's the conversation starter, and then get more people playing. But yeah, I certainly hope you're right, and it's very exciting, and I'm eager to see what we get in a 2 draft set year, because certainly we did have that, Monarch and Tails, but that wasn't the height of the game, still coming out of the pandemic. This year was the very big year. We had 2 supplemental sets. It's interesting kind of dynamic to that. And I'm wondering how, I'm personally excited that we're going to have 2 draft sets, and I'm very stoked. But some other things that we have going on in the community is a continued boom in content creation. Now, I do want to see how you're doing with Instant Speed and some other endeavors you've done. You mentioned it a little bit earlier, the Goliath Gauntlet. How did that go?
So the Goliath Gauntlet went exceptionally well, more so than we could have ever hoped. This was essentially kind of a spawned idea from Mitch Leslie's mind, aka Uber, who just was a big fan of the game. And he is already just a legend within the Overwatch League community. This is somebody who is an award-winning caster, like not just, some scrub. This is somebody whom I immensely look up to. I did not know much about him until we met this year, and watching him working with him, I just love the dude. This is going to sound incredibly arrogant, but I've been in the business for a while. I've worked across so many different titles and genres. I finally in this past year become confident that I am good at what I do. And that owes back to mental health and things like that. But it's difficult to actually, when you're always struggling to find work, you'll always doubt yourself, because you think that you should go out there and people should be chasing after you and your talent. It's not that's not how it goes. For 5 years of my life, I've been always trying to go and hunt down people to work for. I am finally at a position where I'm like, okay, you know what? I know I'm good at what I do, and I'm happy. I'll never stop working to improve, but that's where I'm at. So that said, there's not many people out there who make me worried about my job. And Mitch Leslie is one of those people who I'm like, God damn, this is somebody who can, if he wants to, can just swoop in and take my job because he's that effing good. Would he do that? No. Mitch is somebody who has actually approached me when we've casted together for Goliath Gauntlet. He would send me this long paragraph. He's like, look, I just rewatched our game. I'm so sorry I missed this. I'm so sorry I screwed up this. I talked over you on this. I'm still looking to improve. I'm like, dude, you're fine. You're great. I'm the student here. You're the professional. So this was his idea because he wanted to jump into casting FaB. So he's like, here's the secret sauce, by the way, if you want to get in the industry and start casting, you make your own events and you cast your own events. That's how I got in the business. And that's how Uber is doing it for this. He created the Goliath Gauntlet. So we paired up. It was myself, him, and Tannen. We just started spitballing ideas. The idea of calling it Goliath Gauntlet was my idea, because he's like, we should call it the Champions Gauntlet. I'm like, or we can call it the Goliath Gauntlet, because
or there's a card that exists.
Yeah. Like, it's already built in, dude. Everything's done for you. And he's like, that's genius. That's genius. Gold, Jerry.
Gold.
So we basically said, well, what's the plan here? And well, no Swiss rounds. We want to keep it pretty good, and we want every single round to be must see. We wanted every single round to be a banger. So we're like, okay, let's get 16 players. And we literally created this fantasy draft of who we wanted on it, this sort of wish list. And we put to like 18 or 20 names, and we put them in no particular order. And we said, all right, We're going to send this out, and the first 16 people who respond are in. And it just so happened that the first 16 people we inquired with responded and said yes. So we were blown away by that. We were blown away by the people who put the effort into the non-content creators who were like, okay, I don't have a webcam set up. I don't have anything. Can you walk me through it? So I spent hours on video calls trying to help people figure out OBS, this, that, how to record. And ultimately, the Goliath Gauntlet was a major success, not because we crowned a winner and all the games were produced, majestically by 983 Media and Mark Gibson, but it was because the community embraced it and wanted to see it and wanted more of it, and we're talking about it and we're inquiring. And what makes my heart so warm and satisfied is that when I'm listening to other podcasts, when I'm watching other broadcasts, people are referring to the players in the Goliath Gauntlet and their records and successes and matchups there as being legitimate, as saying, this is somebody who went to the semifinals of the Goliath Gauntlet beating X and Y person. I'm like, God damn. Like, people are respecting this tournament, and that's important. And it caught the eye of LSS. It caught the eye of PCG Grading. It caught the eye of a lot of people who wanted to get involved. And I do have to make a major shout out to FaB Cards, who were the first to step up and say, I haven't seen anything. I trust you guys. I want to be involved. I want to inflate that prize pool. So we're so happy that that's what happened. And there's going to be another one, and it's going to be sooner than you think.
Is it going to be similar faces? Are we going to get some new faces in there for the round 2?
So we're going to change it up. One of the major criticisms we got was like, well, you didn't have this person and this person and this person in. And my reply is akin to what Tannen always replies, which is, who would you take out? You give me the name that doesn't deserve to be here, or we will put that name in. It's just a matter of space, of real estate. There's 16 spots. Are you telling me that, so-and-so deserves to be there over like Michael Fang or over Majin Bey, who won the whole damn thing? That's the whole part. We put Doa in because he was going to be casting Worlds, and he had a huge interest in it, and we wanted to include him because he also wanted to cast the Goliath Gauntlet as well and whatnot. He goes up against Michael Hamilton, like, as his first thing, like, welcome to the jungle, bitch. Like, this is, you wanted in, you got in. The new faces, yes. So the way we're doing this is we're like, okay, we're going to invite back the 2 finalists, obviously. So Majin and Armada are coming back. We wanted, obviously, Michael Hamilton to come back. So we're going to ask Michael Hamilton. And then we're like, let's spitball. We want people from all around the world. So we're going Canada, US, Europe, Asia, Australia, New Zealand. We're going all the way around and trying to get as many people from all walks of life that we can. But again, I have to just throw this out there. Just because your favorite player isn't on there, it's not because we deem them unworthy. It's merely a matter of real estate. And we want to include as many people as we can, but keep in mind, we're not getting paid for this. We put in, literally, for this Goliath Gauntlet, everybody put in like 100 hours of their personal time and work into this, especially Mark Gibson, who made this obscenely nice. And he didn't get paid for this. We're doing this out of our pocket. So, we're trying to give something to the community, and we know that your favorite person's not there, but we can't do a 32-man tournament. We can't, because a 32 person. Well, it's double the amount of games that we have to produce and broadcast, and logistically we can't do it.
All right, I'll do it. No.
Sold.
I will say one thing I would like to say now. For the listeners, I have no idea what's going on with Goliath Gauntlet round 2, part 2, or however you guys.
Gauntleter.
Goliath
Gauntlet.
Yeah. 2 Goliath, 2 Gauntlet. One thing I would like to see, obviously you mentioned Michael Hamilton. I want him on one side of the bracket. I would love for my friend and serious competitor Daniel Rakowski to be on the other side.
Oh, he's on the list.
Okay, because that's
Daniel Rakowski. So if you want some insight here, we have a Google Sheets form where basically it's me, Tannen, and Uber, and we're like, just throw names on the list, and we will then in a week we'll come back to it, and we'll go through it, and we'll pick our first 16 that we want on it. everybody's list was like, we wrote the list and it was basically, okay, well, the finalists are in. Everybody's list was Armada and Majin. The third name on there for everybody was Michael Hamilton, and everybody's fourth name was Dan Rutkowski. Everybody's fourth name was Dan Rutkowski. We absolutely are aware that this guy is a pure workhorse and is not somebody out there who's seeking spotlight or wants the fame or the culture surrounding it. And I have mentioned this on my podcast. I've mentioned it in other people's podcasts. This is your sort of exhibit A of just a hardworking, lunch pail work boots kind of player who puts the work in, crushes Swiss, and then unfortunately kind of falls short. But falling short to some is leagues ahead of what everyone else in the field is doing.
Oh yeah. Well, it feels very in Hamilton, Rutkowski to me feels very Rocky, Apollo Creed, right? And this is the kind of storylines that we need to build for things like the Goliath Gauntlet, and I'm excited. I'm especially excited now to know that he's right in there, and
he's in there.
He's in there, all right, which is awesome. And
do you want me to spoil some names of who we're asking? Let me see if I can get that.
So we got Majin, we got DM.
I mean, I have not ran this past anybody. Like, again, I don't give a crap. If Tannen wants to get mad at me for mentioning who we've looked out to or we've reached out to, but I'm gonna throw some names out there of players who are not on the current one, who weren't on the previous one, that we intend on reaching out to. Brody Spurlock. We
Makes
intend
sense.
to Chris Ayali. Viet Pham. We also keep in mind, we are also looking to include content creators. We want to include people, and we also want to include people who have interest in this game but are known for other games. We want to cross-pollinate. We want to sort of also bridge gaps between other games and such. And as such, we have some possible surprises from notable names from other sectors of the card gaming sphere that we're looking to drop in and hopefully make the same splash that Majin Bey did. Because keep in mind, Majin Bey was I don't want to say an absolute nobody, but nobody was aware of who this person was until he started dummying people in the Goliath Gauntlet, and now you know who Majin Bey is. But Majin Bey is like a world-leading #1 player in Legends of Runeterra, perennially, like a threat to just dummy the ladder and a tournament winner, and nobody knew him, and here he is. So I'm glad that Majin Bey won, because it also kind of silenced a few of the critics who were like, who the hell is this clown? And it's like, well, this is the clown who beat Michael Hamilton on Michael Hamilton's own list, so suck it.
And for the record, Majin, I never thought you were an absolute nobody. Just Flake. But I'm very excited, and I'm glad to have gotten a little taste of what we have to come. And if Tannen's mad at you, you can come talk to me. And if he's really, really mad, we can edit this out.
I just realized, as I mentioned those few names, they're all from the USA. I promise you, this is not going to be a USA tournament. I would never let that happen. As a proud Canadian, I would never let that happen. We have on our list of people that we want to invite, we have people from Poland, United Kingdom, New Zealand, Australia, Asia, multiple Asian players, obviously. Yeah, well, Bruce Springsteen's agent hasn't gotten back to us yet.
Well, luckily Daniel lives in New Jersey, so you got it covered.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Okay, well then we're covered. Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe Dan Rutkowski is Bruce Springsteen's agent. He's so quiet, we wouldn't know.
Oh man, so that's going to be very exciting. It's a lot of fun, and you're right. If you want to cast things, you got to create your own events, and yourself obviously have been doing it, and you got to shout out Ethan Van Sant, who's traveling around making a crazy rig at these SCG cons in the basement of Valley Forge Casino that had no Wi-Fi, and
that was fun. Like this giant campaign of people tweeting at SCG Con. Give the guy the fucking password, for Christ's sake. Just let him connect to your invisible magic connection. Like, it costs you nothing. Like, just let him fucking connect, you doofuses.
Oh my God, yeah. But hey, listen. Well, as great of a segue as I can make it, I'm very thankful for folks like you and Ethan, putting on these wonderful events and casting them. And it's that time of the show, Flake, where we're gonna get thankful for Thanksgiving. Flesh and Bloodsgiving, as I like to call it. This is Flesh and Bloodsgiving 2022. And we got some letters from people.
Okay.
Past guests, some of our favorite guests from the past. And then, some probably got lost in the mail, but we got some great ones here. I'll start out. I got a nice little letter here from, well, it's my co-host of the Bud Rush fellow, Mr. Viz, aka Gary. He says here in this wonderful handwritten letter, which wow, you have such beautiful handwriting, Gary. I'm thankful for a community that allows me to be a stupid purple goober. I'm thankful to all the buds and all the friends across the world I've made over a shared love for a purple guy and his enemies. Now, I'm thankful for Gary. He's made my journey in Flesh and Blood just incredible, and he's helped grow my community. And now he's a weird waifu pillow guy that happens to do a podcast with me, and it's nice. It's nice. You have a letter over there, don't you?
I do. This one is from Mara Faris, aka Blackwing Studios, who is responsible for my Katsu altar that I can finally bring shamelessly to a tournament, because Katsu is not necessarily dumpster tier anymore. Mara saying, I don't know why in my head I wanted to do this in a specific like random voice. Like, I don't know. I'm not going to do it anymore, but we'll just do it in my voice. Honestly, I'm just grateful for the Flesh and Blood community. I only just started playing Flesh and Blood earlier this year, and I've been welcomed in with open arms and huge smiles. I feel like I found more than just new friends. I found a family in this game. It's changed my life in very real, tangible ways, and I'm so grateful for all of you out there who make this game what it is. I can't wait to see how much more the future holds for us all.
It's very sweet, Mara. And I think I can speak for both of us. We're very thankful for Mara and the awesome kind of angle that she brings to the Flesh and Blood community with her wonderful altars and, well, her huge, beautiful personality. And it's she's always a blast to have at the events. Next we have a letter from Anna Shreve, aka the Rune Babe, who was just an absolute pleasure to have on the podcast. And she says, I'm thankful for finding a great card game and community this past year with Flesh and Blood, my cats and husband, and that I could finally put Dr. Rune Babe as my Twitter name. And for context, she did finish her dissertation. I think, I don't know. I'm not a smart person who knows what PhDs and stuff are, but I think it's pretty cool, and very thankful for Anna. Also got some quick ones here from Sin, who is just the aggro Yinzer. He says, this year I'm thankful for thick thighs, pumpkin thighs, and Flesh and Blood. Wonderful, short, sweet, to the point. And Mo Bogsley says, I'm thankful for Tommy Fresh and his dumpy. I don't know if he meant for me to put that or if he just forgot to send what he meant to send.
What's a dumpy? Is that your ass?
Yeah, it's my ass. Hey, listen.
Let me double down on this, Mo. You hit it right out of the park, buddy.
It's not for everyone, but for those it is. I'm glad people were thankful for it.
All right. Well, Pat Shaw of the Combat Chain, good person, good friend, says lots to be thankful for this year. Why do you give me? First of all, why do you give me the ones that are gigantic paragraphs?
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
You're the talent, man. Come on.
All right. No, I'm good. I like to, I get called, at least in the in the Gwent community, like with the broadcasting for the tournaments, they call me One Take Flake, because I don't they send me scripts and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool, nice try. I don't do that. I don't do scripts. Nicely done. So when I'm given a script like this, the first thing that goes through my mind is always to just read it and then get the gist of it and then say it in my own words. But I can't, because these are actual. This is like a quote from Pat. So,
well,
Pat,
you can embellish. He wouldn't mind.
No, I'm not gonna. I don't know why my brain even immediately went to something terrible. Be like, and Pat says, "I'm a big idiot, Dick." No, that's not. But I love Pat, and he wouldn't say that, nor would I ever think of him to say that. He didn't say that. Pat says, lots to be thankful for this year. Thankful for my wonderful family who have supported me in my content and playing Flesh and Blood. I've gone to a lot of places I've never been, made real friends, and had a whole lot of fun along the way. Thankful for Adam. He took a shot on me, and together we're thriving in this crazy game. Thankful for the buds. And for you, Tommy, you're very much the glue for this little circle of the web, and none of us would be nearly as happy without the quintessential Bud Muffin leading the charge. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Oh, that's really sweet. I don't, Pat's just a sweet guy, isn't he?
Oh,
isn't just
wait. There's a PS here. There's a PS here. It says PS. Tommy's an ass. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, wait. Oh my God.
You said I could embellish. You said I can embellish.
Oh, I told you not to read that part. That was just for me. No,
that was bolded and underlined.
you actually got 2 in a row here.
I do, and I'm so happy I got this one. I do have a bunch. This one's from Az, so I can do an Az.
Oh, you're gonna do his voice, his wonderful, wonderful accent. Can you?
I'm gonna try. It's gonna be terrible. I once tried to do an Australian accent to Hayden Dale. He looked at me like he's like, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm just gonna kill you." All right. Az says, "I'm so thankful, right, to have been able to meet and connect with so many people around the world." Right, which I wouldn't have done otherwise. Well, that was added in. Thanks to LSS for making a great game and championing a mission statement that brings so many like-minded and lovely folks to the forefront of this amazing community. And frankly, Az is one of those people. This is me saying this. Az is definitely one of those people who is not just a wonderful person in the community, but also spearheads a lot of this kind of gathering and coming together aspects of it too.
Oh yeah, Az is the best. I'm so jealous that I did not get to see and meet Az in the Flesh and Blood. But we've actually talked. He might try to come to a Realm Games thing down the road. So I'll be picking him up at Newark Airport maybe and taking him on over there. Nice little 8-hour drive with the Azmeister.
So if you guys are going, there's a chance I might fly into Newark and come with you guys. I mean, if there's an 8-hour road trip, I could just go directly to Realm Gaming and drive there or fly there. But this happened at the previous Realm Gaming tournament, I think, where rather than fly, I drove to Buffalo. Or no, it wasn't the Realm Gaming; it was Indianapolis. I drove to Buffalo to make sure that I can keep Blevins company on the drive to Indianapolis. So I'm okay with 8-hour car rides with people I like.
Well, it'd be just so much fun. We'd have to, basically, it would be a movie, man, and sounds like a lot of fun. You got one from Jordan here. Can you do Jordan's voice? I've tried to do Jordan's voice.
I can't do Jordan's voice, but I'll add in some things that I'm sure he's actually thankful for that he didn't include in this list. So, I'll let everyone out there decide what is actually real and what isn't. But it starts off with, I'm most thankful for getting to share a hobby like Flesh and Blood with my wife. No.
Whoa.
He didn't say that. He didn't say
He
that.
did not say that.
No. He didn't say wife. He said Abby. I'm joking.
That's another joke.
Getting to spend time with her doing something we both love is an amazing gift that I recognize how lucky I am to experience, especially when I'm taking the points of San Jose versus Montreal in hockey. +1.5 is absolutely slam that down, roll the bones on that nonstop. No, he didn't write that, but that's what I would do. I've also made some of the best friends of my life this year thanks to this game. People I would have never met, I now love dearly, and that is beautiful.
Jordan's the best. He's just so great. I wish he'd talk about his wife in a better light, but
seriously, dude, Jordan, please.
No. Seriously, he loves his wife very much, and she puts up with him, and that's all that matters. And Jordan's just the best. That whole crew. We have notes from that whole crew in this little, in these letters that I have. Definitely letters and not messages from Discord. Next, we have a message from Hayden Dale. People
do his accent.
Know.
Do it.
Oh no! God, I just want to make it really short and a big food for this amazing. I don't know. It is not good. I can't do it. I can't do it. It's just not.
You sounded like Milton from Office Space. I'm thankful for my amazing stapler. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thankful for the amazing Flesh and Blood community and the lifelong friends I have made because of this game through Arsenal Pass and traveling to compete on the Pro Tour this past year. The game and the experiences I've had because of it have changed my life forever. This game brings in some of the best people, and without them, this amazing game would be a little bit less special. Hayden, thankful for you. You're just, without folks like Hayden, where is this game? And he is so unbelievably hot and sexy and tall. So
Hayden and I, we went to dinner on one of the nights I think it was like the Saturday night at Worlds, and we sat next to each other and we had a rule that says no talking about cards. And we just immediately kind of clicked and were making the same type of stupid jokes. And like every time I would have a dumb idea or setting up a dumb joke, he would recognize it and just hit the punchline for me, which was great. He is one of the wickedest, coolest people that we both kind of were in agreement, like that if we lived within a 50-mile radius of one another, we would probably be best friends. And I appreciate this guy very much. And here's a fun fact. You want a nickname for Hayden Dale? Because I love giving out nicknames. At the after party of Worlds at Guildhouse, his flight, I think, was at like 6 a.m. or something. So he wasn't going to bed, but he was going to drink. They did that drunken Mario Kart thing.
Oh yeah.
And I was asked, I think you can actually see this on Az's video, where he started just sculling a beer at the start of that thing, and they asked me to do the commentary for it. And just randomly I called him the Silver Swallower because he was just downing that beer. So that is now Hayden Dale's nickname. You can tweet at him, say, at Hayden, I hear you're the Silver Swallower. And I hope that sticks forever.
Oh my God. Well, I will save that for next time I see him in person. Next, we have a message from Dana Haywood, who was the first guest of this year on Fresh and Buds. She's a local bud. She came on. She talked about some like really important things about, just making Flesh and Blood accepting and kind of creating a great space for players from all backgrounds. And she here gives us a little note. I'm thankful for mech support finally, which, I know a lot of people out there are very excited about traveling to new places for events and the pack of incredible friends I've made through FaB, which I think we can all echo. Though I don't think mech needed that much, but maybe Brute could have got a little more. But we can't.
Brute got good stuff, dude. Brute got some pretty good stuff.
Ryan and I got good stuff. Let's. Next, we have Kale, Dead Summer Art, who says, I'm very thankful for having the opportunity to share my love for Flesh and Blood with this community. To be looked up to for my content is truly amazing, and I appreciate how kind and accepting the community is. I'm also thankful for all my friends and family, both inside and outside the community, who support my endeavors and allow me to grow and flourish creatively. Lastly, I'm very thankful for LSS. They are a fantastic company that are super supportive content creators and know that they truly care about each and every person who plays their amazing game. Kale, I'm very thankful for just being the wealth of lore knowledge that I need. Just always, there when I have a question, and he's ready to answer.
I love it. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, he's just a sweet, sweet Australian man. Love him. Next, we have another Tommy. Tommy's Top Picks, local bud as well. I'm thankful for the local FaB community that has grown into a strong group of friends beyond the game. I'm so thankful to have these kind and caring people in my life. Are you seeing a theme here, Flake? Seems like the community is pretty awesome.
It's definitely the foundation for everybody's appreciation for the game. Frankly, I mean, if the game sucked, obviously the community wouldn't have grown.
Sure.
The quality of the game and such is obviously it's the soil in which this beautiful plant grows, as it were. But it's without that kind of sunlight and support from the community, then who knows what kind of nasty orchid we would have evolved into. But ultimately, yeah, the community is pretty damn good. I mentioned this to some people where, frankly, the like post-event depression is not necessarily because I'm no longer working, I'm no longer casting matches, which I adore. It's the fact that I don't get to see my friends for a while. It's like this is truly, this community has grown to become some of my closest friends. I have the friends I grew up with in school. I have friends around the world from other games that I've played, but ultimately when it comes down to it, you are the people that I go and I go out to eat dinner with. You're the people that I speak to on a daily basis. You're the people that I'm able to converse with about my passions, and I'm forever thankful for that as well. I mean, I'm going to add on to that, but yeah, the community is very much a driving force for the health of this game.
It's just the best. And, I think we would be worse off without it. So you have Abby and then Logan, and then I'll cap it off
I
with
do.
Capolo. Tell us what Abby said, and you can
All right.
embellish on what she
Abby,
said as well.
Abby, not a first of all. If you were at Battle Hardened Columbus, Abby was there to make sure that everybody was taken care of and that the event was going smoothly. She got breakfast for a lot of us. She brought us coffee and drinks. She made sure that everything was spot on amazing. She is an absolute underappreciated all-star that, frankly, I am appalled at the terrible things that Jordan says about her privately. But she does have it on record legitimately. So fun fact here, when I was leaving Columbus, the flight I was taking home was late in the afternoon, but I had to check out of my hotel. So Jordan picked me up and he's like, yeah, you can just chill at my place for a few hours and I'll bring you to the airport. And I was at his place and he was working and he had some stuff to do. So I was just chilling, playing Marvel Snap and whatever. And then I left Abby a note on a paper saying, "Dear Abby," purposely spelling her name wrong. "You are in fact not a love Flake." So I have it there. So she has it in writing and I hope it's framed. If I were her, I would put it right next to Jordan's law degree on like the wall so that he can look at that and then look at the other, and both of them are official in writing. But Abby says, "I'm thankful for the lifelong friendships that I've gained from Flesh and Blood community. Whether it is a new friend or a rekindled friendship, I am lucky to have each and every one of my friends in my life. I'm also lucky to continue to share this hobby with my husband, Flake. I love Flesh and Blood, but I love sharing this hobby with Jordan more."
Very sweet. Very sweet. Abby's just the best. I've said it before. I'll say it again. The absolute glue that holds Flesh and Pod together.
Oh, yeah.
They would be in so much trouble if she just got up and said no. And then you got Logan here.
Logan saying, "I am thankful for the greater Flesh and Blood community and how they've enriched my life in a short amount of time. In the past year, I've made lifelong friends that I never would have made without this game community, even though at least one of them can't pronounce theater." Oh, I know who this is. Freaking.
Oh, yeah.
"Oh, I was a part of the theater because I like to take words with multiple syllables and change them to make them sound more intelligente."
Yeah, if you don't know, we're talking about Elaine. Me and Elaine we're on Flesh and Pod, and she pronounced theater like theater, which has hey, listen, I don't know, maybe she's from a bygone Victorian era. And
yeah. What time machine did you come out of? And seriously, Elaine, first of all, not only that, but then she had the audacity to just slam some more of that thick, creamy, superiority on us, where she's like, "That I thought that's how it was pronounced." Get bent, Elaine. Seriously, get bent.
Yeah, I mean, hey, listen, maybe she learned about that when she was summering in the south of France or wherever.
Yeah, seriously. You know what? If you summer somewhere, you can go take a hike. Don't ever tell me you summer. I summer in the Andes. Get fucked. Get out of here with that shit.
Oh, man. Well, we love you, Elaine. And finally, here we got a message from Capolo, aka Andrea Biaggi. "I'm thankful to be part of the amazing FaB community, especially thankful for the fresh Discord. Thank you. Community that welcomed me with open arms, made many friends quickly, like they were friends forever with me, and have great memories with them. Very thankful for wonderful Capolo as well, because
yeah,
he is just a glue in that community. Also, I do want to take this time to say that I'm very thankful for you, Flake. Unbelievably so. You've honestly one of the best people in this community. And for personal reasons, you are just a wonderful person to me. And I take that, to heart. And
better than Jordan, at least, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, who isn't? But no, but you're honestly amazing, and I'm very, very, very grateful for you. And I do want to shout out a couple other people that were on the podcast this year. Tarek Patel, thank you so much. Melody, Elaine, we dunked on you, but you're awesome. Kugane, Dane, all the Battle Bros, everyone from Attack Action, and many, many more. And just grateful for this community.
No, and I will sort of, hitch my wagon to that as well. What people don't know, or I've mentioned this several times, is that Tommy was somebody who, in my darkest hours, in my most depressive states, was somebody who made himself available and open to help me through some very depressing and honestly scary times that went down some very dangerous routes, as it were, in my life. As recently as this year, there were sort of instances where I was sort of down the line of potential suicide, and there were people in this community that were there, and you were one of them, and I will never forget that, and I will never not appreciate you, Tommy, for that, and just that conversation we had in the at like 1 a.m. in the the Valley Forge Casino lobby, where you would just sort of I forgot where we were going. I think we were going to go for a drink, and you just stopped me and said, "Hey," and then you said some very nice things to me and some very supportive things, and that meant a lot to me, and I will always carry that with me as sort of a nice rock to build my my little humble home on. But thank you again, buddy.
Well, I meant it, and I will always mean it, my friend. And for the listeners out there, I know the holidays could suck. The holidays can be great for some, but it can also suck for others. And I hope that you can always reach out, even to me. I'm very available, for anyone in this community, because that's the last thing we need, is to lose anybody from this community, because it's so great, as we just saw from all those wonderful messages from all those wonderful people. And I hope everybody does have a great Thanksgiving. And we will chat soon. Flake, please.
We're already done.
Plug. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, we get on the mics and things fly.
I know. Like, I understand that there's time limits and it's tough sometimes, but like, to me, this is just us chilling out, right? This is us just having a I don't know.
We're yucking and jiving, right?
We are absolutely yucking and jiving. It was funny because yesterday I came home so this past weekend I did the Genesis Battle of Champions World Championship, which was actually in Toronto, which was very convenient for me. I met some incredible people. That game is pretty rad, not gonna lie. But I came home after a long day. Like, I was there at like 8 a.m. I got home, it was close to midnight, and I made some ramen, like some instant noodles, and I just slammed on the couch, and I was so ready to just die. But there was like 3 back-to-back Seinfeld episodes. And Tommy, I'm not kidding you, it crossed my mind where in my head I was like, the only way this would get better is if it was Tommy and I eating noodles, watching Seinfeld. And that really just kind of, that made me smile, because it's not just about the fact that you were not there. It's the fact that I have somebody that I can share this kind of stuff with. So we got to do that. We got to just have a night,
Easy. We'll do it. And you know what? It's funny enough. Today I had like the perfect Seinfeld reference in my daily life that I went to the grocery store with Lady Fresh, and we pile into the car for all the Thanksgiving stuff, and a bunch of the shopping cart like corrals, right? Like where you go put them, were like full. She's like, "Oh, just leave it right here." And I was like, "No, we live in a society." And I just like grabbed it and like walked all the way back to the store. So
you're a good person. That's what you're supposed to do. And you know why? Because my first job was the dude who picked up shopping carts from like the middle of the highway median, you jackasses. So please go and bring them back, you dipshits. Don't be that person. Please, there is someone like me with hopes and dreams and no money who are pushing these carts from the middle of, I don't know, a war zone to go back to Walmart to go put them where they're supposed to go. Don't be an asshole.
We live in a society.
Yes, exactly.
But can you please plug everything that you need to plug, my friend?
Yes, absolutely. So you can catch me on Twitter at WatchFlake, on Discord, all that other stuff. I stream randomly here and there. I'm going to be streaming a lot in the next couple of weeks ahead of the Gwent Masters World Championship, which I'll be casting, which is hilarious because nobody knows and they haven't announced it yet. So now you know, but it's not official until it's official. I'll be streaming a bunch there. There's the Instant Speed podcast on Twitter at Instant Speed Pod and on YouTube at youtube.com/983media. It's everywhere. It's a jumble, but just look up Instant Speed podcast on whatever podcast platform. We're going to be doing, I think, about 4 more episodes to round out the year, and then I'm going to be taking a nice deserved break, if I may. But the last few episodes are going to be bangers. We've got Olivia Gobert-Hicks, the cosplayer who does Prism, will be on this week. I've got Josh Scott, the rules and policy manager, who's an awesome human being and is hilarious. He'll be on the podcast. I've got Matt Rogers. I've got the professor of Tolarian Community College, and I got James White. So that is how we're going to end the year, and I'm excited because then I'm going to go into hibernation mode and hopefully open up some not so shitty Christmas presents.
Nice little tie in there to the Armory promo. Yeah, please, everybody go check out Flake. I mean, at this point, if you listen to this podcast, you know Flake and you know everything he does, but please go give him love and all the likes, comments, whatever helps. I don't know, algorithms.
And please, I don't mean to just sort of hijack this real quick, but I know that we talked about mental health briefly, but it like you mentioned, I have to hammer this down. This is the worst time for mental health issues. It is stressful. It's expensive. You might be alone or you might be overwhelmed. There's no blueprint for how you can respond or how you're supposed to feel in certain situations. Everyone's unique. Everyone has their own pains and sufferings and kind of hidden battles that they're fighting. It's important that even if it's one person, that you at least let somebody know if you're feeling bad. It doesn't mean that they're going to fix it for you, but I promise you, just having other people understand how you're feeling, it helps. And I know this for a fact because if it wasn't for people like Tommy who asked me how I'm feeling, things could have gone very differently. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful that I have these people out there. And if you don't have someone out there, well, you do. You can reach out to me. And I'm sure you can reach out to Tommy. So please, please, please take your mental health seriously and seek the companionship that you need.
Of buds. That's what it's all about. And you know what? Honestly, listen, I've said it. And the Buds Discord, a lot of great people there, not just me, but probably better people than me in there that, are super understanding. And, if you're looking for a community, please go join the Buds Discord. You don't even have to listen to the goddamn podcast. Just go in there and hang out and talk to people. And that's what it's all about. And, because if if we lose people, listen, we could have been looking at the Goliath Gauntlet called the Champions Gauntlet. And, that's a terrible name. So, but I'm
glad that my impact and my legacy is secured. Thank you.
But anyway, yeah, you guys can continue to find me at FreshBloodspod on Twitter. I don't know about Hive. I have a Hive, but we're not even going to talk about Hive. Please like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. Check out the Blood Rush Bell. Check out the Patreon. Something you can do for both of our podcasts is leave a review, rate it on all the audio platforms. It all helps and helps us, make it easier for the influx of new people getting interested in this game to come find us and hopefully find a home with us. So thank you all. Please enjoy your holiday, or if you don't celebrate, please enjoy your weekend. And everybody have a good week. From the outside in, I saw pictures of.
Is that your ass?
Yeah, it's my ass. Tasty stuff.